No. Just sit in relaxed and comfortable posture. So having sit in this relaxed physical posture, so we the reason why we are here is to really to training our mind. So maybe if we are wondering, what is more things that we need to train our mind, and some might even think that I have given enough training to my mind, trained my mind enough, and then on the other hand, there are probably there might be still there's a lot of things that we need to train our mind and need to educating our mind. So educating our mind. So like okay, that's all right. So so like on my own part, from a very young age, I've been started this learning. My spiritual trainings have begun, and so I know there's over many years. So there's quite a lot of things that we can learn and to train our mind, training our mind. Yes. So it may be true that we have been learning a lot of new things in our mind, and also we've been trying to engage ourselves in so many different training our mind, and perhaps also generally speaking in our lives. So we might have tried so many different things, in terms of work, and we might have done different so many different experience or different types of work. So now the somehow at the at the end of everything that that things that we have learned and we have experienced our life, So we find the reality is that we find that in the within ourselves, our mind is still remained very restless, very uncalm, and there's something disturbing, we find our mind something being disturbed. So that is something, the realities, something that we find if we look at the in our mind, then despite all these various things that we have learned and experienced in life. So when it comes to the to our mind, and then if you see how much we have a control over our mind, how much we have understanding of mind. So we would notice, or there we will find ourselves in situations where somehow we have some sort of inability to really subduing or controlling our mind. So we find as if our mind is rather being very dispersed, have always been very has gone always distracted towards something else. So it's been under, as if the mind is under the control of some other force. So then we check why we we lack this kind of control our mind, and then why we have a very little influence on our mind. So then considering that all the things that that we have learned and we have experienced in life, then we can also observe that our up until now, the various our training and our the life experience is very much oriented towards some like external distractions, something where we where based on the whole mind is all based on our mind being engaged or occupied on some sort of external object of distractions, and then along with that also our mind is also always been under the dominant of some sort of like a mental affliction or the delusions. So always accompanied, always there, and some things which we haven't even thought of the getting rid of, and so this is something that if we look at, if we examine, if we observed our own experience, then so this is something that we have been so used to the way we learn, acquire our education, where we experience our lives, so where we are so used, we have this habit of always focusing or our attentions being directed towards the external objects.
then another another say caution on she said caution say la convio ne ma se ma de pa la ko
so we learn from this that why our mind is in this kind of state where it is always very where we lack the control, but it's always very directed, always wanders after external. So we will observe that we find that this is something to do with the habit, the kind of the mental habit that we have built in our mind. So it's because of those habit of always letting our mind, goes after the external objects.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I'm the Jin Tong here. That said never catch him. Say money being so shading point. Say money be shading tone. Say never catch him with some point. So never temple. You want that? So the catch him with you. Jin Tong. Must say color and catch him with shooting.
So we can also learn as we observe our own experience. We can also learn from there that our main weakness or our main fault is not not doing anything to abiding or to resting the mind within ourselves. So so therefore on the other hand, so therefore we can from our experience, so we can also learn that there's a benefit. There's a tremendous benefit if we make an effort to trying to let the mind stabilize or rest within ourselves. So is there any means to rest, to put our mind into rest within ourselves, so of course if there is some sort of means or the tools where we can actually put the mind into rest, and then the giving the fact that there's how the benefit that we can acquire, we can gain from the very relax and this the rest of our mind. So therefore there's we have to say to ourselves then why we don't apply that means or the tools to put our mind into rest. So on the other hand, if we examine that is there any means to put the mind into rest or not, and then if we find that if really there's no means and it's not possible for us to do that, then of course then we have to give up, and then in a sense, in a way that we have to stop worrying about that, then putting the mind into rest.
that's something. So therefore, that time on the time on the one doesn't account that gums and comes and tell it. Gums and comes and tell it. No, then tell it. That's something. God said never gums, comes and tell that the upper comes and God combat the cheese in the generation and comes that tell it. That's something helpful. God comes together.
So in fact, so there is the means, effective means to resting or calming our mind, and so that means which in Tibetan we call it gom or kom. So both has the same meaning. So literally in English it means to getting used to or to familiarizing something, to familiarizing with. So in another word, so it is to, normally we say it's the meditations.
No, mi bacilla, mi ne col condicere, se noi sroi di vanno. Da cose staricia, se così lui ne non mi va mi ane condicere, se non ne batte di nuova, se così un combi un. Bravo, tu per avuta, tali de sroi facile, ma combi un. 주주가 로이 영화를 만드니 야말 시바야야야 찬 시비체 나지 저거를 되니 노시 싫어요 주바다 늘 롱다 거시 용다 돈벌이 만도 야말 라 도망에네 거기에네 지라 도망 주주가 만들지 사전 저기지 다 들리지 나는 그냥 내 냉게지 내가 다 거시바야야 찬 시바야 살로 제 되니 늘 런다 되는 것이 영우도와 대응은 다 연결되어 다 대체자 세 것이 응은 너무 미바지는 안되네 발레체 대 건지들래 대 것이들래 나 세마 싫어일라 윤이 센슈 된게 코마 신로 다세 싫어일라 윤이 트니 뭐야 코셔선 당한다 이제 넘어다지 nga mebe deaji tene yungu yare ra nga me mose kora ga mani deashi senge yare ngene yada ra nga te kaji senge de romi jeno no de kaji de jesu ngene chingama chi senge marda ka mo mare te yun mose kora de chile chi de te no shibo mose kora ga mani se te da 자체 토모 거리 세 노트 된 선도 예전 얘는 생각이 있다. 다 들리 다리 세 것이 운전을 만든 용거야. 대행에 진짜 갈때 까버려서 야자는 된 노이 노야 말이. 고날라면 이제 뭐 얘만 자제비자 내가 만들 로자 노. 고나처럼 라라로 들들로 만다. 야셰를 그때 세시 자주 한데도 마 요사면 돼 생겼대. 야제면 고날라면 이제 뭐 얘만 들 로자 노래. 저로 고나 용을 했습니다. 손이 들리에 또 한번 줘야 돼. 내가 돼. 이놈에 맞지? 될 정도 지키지
So essentially, the meditation practice, involve us to direct the mind towards some inner, object, inner focus, and then to and then trying to, habituating. We make an effort to habituating or familiarizing our mind to sit in that, the inner objects, and so as a result of that, as a result of our mind being rested or or focused on in the inner objects, so and then we the person a person will experience some sort of peace and tranquilities, something that which we cannot same experience which we cannot otherwise gained. So therefore how if we look at our if we look into our in our mind, so we will notice there's some sort of really we have developed some sort of very negative, very bad habit of within our mind to always the mind always being like a venturing in the external object, external things, and not just few things, or always one after another's. So in fact, if we look back, why we have this, why our mind never rests within ourselves, but it always tend to go out, and then even if we trying to overcome that, and then it still just goes out. So that is because there's, as I say, there's been these habits, mental habits of being, going under the influence of such external distractions, external objects being building, which we have, caused, built or developed for over a long period of our time. So in fact, if you look something that if you look back to when we were in a very young age, so probably we didn't have the same mental habit of always venturing outside. So at least we can see child's at a young age, so our mind is most time is very much in the present moment. That how sometimes the child can be if they get whatever they wanted, like their favorite food or drink, then they can be at that moment they can be completely very contented and very calm and very happy. So however, so we then as we grow older, or and then we become more mature, so there seems to be our mind along with that, instead of coming down, we let the mind to always to be venturing after the external object, external experience, and so therefore as a result of that, and then we have this now difficulty of not only to calming our mind, but also then not inwardly, mentally, then really not finding this, the peace and happiness. So, so in this way, now as the great master Shantideva said that there is, if we there is nothing which cannot become easy if we apply the force of like familiarities, and so what does this mean is if of course if we simply saying when we find certain challenges, like such as in here to challenges to breaking this this mental habit of always being falling under the influence of some external distractions. So if we say to ourselves it's too hard, and if we simply give up, then we will not achieve that. But however, if we motivate and encourage ourselves by saying that just as this habit, difficult habits being built, it doesn't happen, all of a sudden, but it been over over a long period of time that our minds been, habituated towards the external distractions. So that's how it has been. So likewise, so we can now turning the mind, the mental focus towards inward, rather than always going letting towards external object of distraction. So if we train our mind, and that we call it, through meditation practice, that means to familiarize or habituating our mind towards the internal object, inner object. So if we do that, then as a benefit, we will find that as we are able to put the mind into rest, or to stop the mind from going to, after external object. When the mind sits inside, we can really experience some sort of peace and tranquility that which otherwise we won't have, and something that we will notice ourselves as if something we haven't had, never experienced that before. So in fact, there are I come across some the people who are saying that who have never tried much such a spiritual practice before, but there are some who after certain attending to the certain Tara initiation, and they tried certain the meditation practice, and then they have really acknowledged the benefit of their meditation practice in terms of finding some sort of the purpose, some sort of in the form of some happiness that which they have never found in anything else. So therefore when we the purpose of meditation practice, therefore, is really is about breaking these bad mental habit of always falling under the influence of external distractions, but to instead to build in the mental habit of always to mind to just resting within ourselves. So of course, and so when we talk about the finding the peace and happiness within ourselves, then the cause for that, really the main cause for that is to letting our mind just resting resting within ourselves, and then at the same time to trying to make an effort to develop developing this calm state of mind.
That's something. The nigga down in there said no never tempo on the says no more Judashi Colpim. That's not some kid. Says no more color. Judah Mashi, Mother said she didn't be. Mother said Judah no later you are, no later you are. Yet it did anything on the G. What are society? To get the after the Yumuya. Chase, she, they are good. Chase, Monday was got from Gege. Never came under the sage sentiment, never tell young Yumuya, society, and a Chase, they are good. Chase said, you want to set from Gege. Tene nipa pen soso nipa toya, nipa yod. Je yod. Je yod then ngamzo tene juda ting. Te juda de se sombolo juda mashe bi zamando sheji tene yod. Te kar de sa ngamzo son se sombolo juda mashe sheji kar yung de se ngin taba la de 만두지 유랑 내내 서서지 로지제 된 거지 샤지 셴네 내내 차된 만두지 특전도 봐야 보실래 특전도 봐야 보실래야 돼 다른 새 좀벌 주다 마셔비고 뒤로 또 지금 드리고 특전 좀벌 되는 만두지 뭐 냐뭐 뭐지 저거야 얘가 차도 이제 얘는 대세인데 얘는 큰는데 얘는 맞아대 다 드네진 얘가를 완전 걸어두지 특제 걸어 시에 말해 되네 뭐 냐뭐 걸어 시에 공비 그리지 않고 나도 잘 못해 아닌 거야 손더 가봐 줘야 되는 새 정보를 주다 마시지 새 정보를 주다 신 들이 방못 내는 son tete sona pendeta na se sombo juda sheje ke chumba ta son tete son chero ngene son yabon kongo de ngene de son to de chero son yabon kwa ma che 전제 그 레드 바 까던 소소 대버 용화다 시 너체 셔보 용 처럼 되는 하고 얘는다 근데 뭐체 셔보 용도 나도 하고 싶거든요 맞아 뭐체 셔보 내가야 뭐체 셔보 내가야 돼 뭐체 셔보 용도 하고 싶거든요 뭐체 셔보 용화서 셔터제 중물 적은 거디와 그라 뭐체 셔보 용에 뭐 내내 소바서 보자 맞아 틀어온다 덜 다듯이 아니야 근데 유다 되는 근데 과연 쳐서 야부 빼야 돼
so what we require is the as mentioned earlier is to training our mind towards a positive towards a positive state of mind and so in this through this training then we will be able to achieve the calm state of mind within ourselves so and this calm state of mind is, as I said, is very important factor for finding more happiness and to in overall generally to our life to be more satisfying, more enjoyable. So because when we talk of this the satisfaction and happiness only in terms of the external causes and conditions, then there is no guarantee. Like it's not necessary that even if we we surround ourselves with all the good external conditions, that there is no guarantee that this external that this will bring more satisfaction, more happiness, more peace for oneself, for ourselves. So how we can see how if we lack the this calm state of mind and lack this positive mental outlook, mental attitude within ourselves, then sometime it is possible even all these favorable external condition can be turned as a further source of further source of misery and dissatisfaction and unhappiness, such as we know how all this, external favorable condition can then become like a further cause to increase, like a desire, or attachment, to increase jealousies towards others, to increase like a pride, and to also feel more a sense of competitions, and so therefore, if we could we know from our own experience that how when our mind when it is filled with all these what we call as the mental delusions, such as the anger, jealousy, and so forth, when these are filled, then how we would then we won't find how we will lack our life will be then deprived of the happiness and peace. So even if the externally we have all those good conditions, so therefore if we have to examine the cause of why we lack this we don't find this peace and happiness in our life, then the cause is not, we cannot really blame towards this external conditions, external what we have accomplished in externalities, so which are all there. So but it's so we can find that it's because of this lack of a positive state of mind, positive mental outlook is in our mind, and so therefore it's important to know, important to recognize that even if we want to be our life, to find more joy, more happiness in our life, then we have to understand, recognize that it is not the sufficiency if we just simply work towards just towards the external favorable gathering, external good condition, but we must also at the same time work on the creating the causes, right causes within ourselves. So which is talking about this some sort of stability, stable and a calm state of mind within ourselves, and which for that, in order to achieve that, then we need to training. We need to train our mind towards a very positive way of thinking.
근저 나도 뭐시바 첨부 제거가 얘다 근저 걸 녀버된 다시 세우 주다지 땡내 그거야 근저 얘 봐도 근저 매를 고다 아니 근저 매도 고다데 내가 제거래 뉴단 뉴거래 근저 얘 고다 될로 내가 준 거래 뉴다 걸 먹어도 맞아 나도 내서 레건도와 근저 제보이 뭐들 걸어 내가 매번 하는 통이야 뒤에서 걸 뉴다 먹어 용도와 롱이 뭘로 녀려서 돼 근저 매번 고다데 뒤도 걸 대하죠 야 뒤도 걸 뉴다 뉴건도와 롤라 뉴다니 제라 뉴다 뭐세 전부다 썸 들리더라 뒤 주다 뭐 아도 그건도와 다 대주다들 수저까지 잡아 공부를 숑바 공부다 되네. 대세우 주다 맞대도 그거야. 야, 숑바를 건지시, 잡아를 건지시 주다 하루 야버리는 거야. 숑바 가게 야봤더니 뭐 설 숑바야나 아주 그런 사고 말해. 대세가 멋질 그놈 맞아 배우는 거야. 손 들리는 대주다 맞아 가야돼 다 뒤에 내가 제도를 근저게 녀버서는 뭔데 숑바고 잡아고 되네 맞아 용거야 세 숑비고는 요거 알아 그저 체주자 되는 맞아 걔네 그걸 건지 체주 뭐 알아 그저 건지 첨버도 제 첨버지 뭔데 뭐제 첨버를 근저 잡고 써야 되는데 그 컨트롤 것이 지금 대다 세 것이 이제 제 것이 능에는 대처를 승에는 선을 하고도나 다 대주다 나도 그거나 그거 나도 그거나 정말 그거나 뭘 정말이야나 대 정말에 서서 써보지는 뭘 유다 지금 어디 왔지도 근데 제가 롤 마셔 가지 롤 유다지 제가 유다 지금도 뭐또 침을 내는 거야 썸은 들려서 내내 근래매매 보다 아주 개정거는 저 소소 근래매매 보다를 기계서나 서서 대하는 사람이 와 가정이가 싸니 근래매매가 가는데 인장 아주 보통아 건축치를 아주 또서 당연히 기발된 소소나 지제나 가본도가 뭐때문에 저기 찌도 아주 큰 돈이래 콩안으로서 때지들 걸 니모때 전에 권한도 편도 좀 있어서 소소한 좀 대당을 줘야 돼.
So instead of always directing our focus on the cause of unhappiness, cause of things going wrong in our life towards towards external, or just only towards externalities. So instead of that, so we should be also turning our, as I'm saying here, turning our focus within ourselves. And so in this way, then we can give we can gain a kind of completely a different perspective of our life in terms of what brings happiness and what brings sufferings. So like how our attitude, our normal attitude is always pointing towards the external factor, external objects. To the point even when we find someone who looks very materially is very well off and who's really has a very good families, supportive families and lots of nice friends, and then when we see that them very unhappy, very dissatisfied, we feel that we don't understand why that person is so unhappy. And so there is, this is also, there's indications that how our, most time, our perspective is always very, externally oriented when we, in terms of finding happiness and or the finding, under facing any suffering, any difficulty in our life. So it's always very external. and so therefore, now instead of this, so if we need to try to, whenever we face certain, like the undesirable situations, so we should examine. We should turn our focus inward, and trying to, if we check, if you have a close look at our mind, then we can really see, we'll be able to identify, recognize the true cause of that. Just as we should be able to, just as we point, instead of pointing to the external object, something external cause, so we should be able to point to the something within our mind, in ourselves. Like for example, we can point to the, for example, the anger, such as destructive emotion, such as anger, as how that can be sometimes, that can be the cause of our unhappiness, sufferings. And so in this way, we just as we work on that, as we gain more knowledge about how our suffering, the misery is not just simply arise from the external object, but also arise from within ourselves. And so therefore we can also then focus on what action we can take, again, to, instead of something always doing, to making some changing to the external things, to the external people. So we're trying to focus on how to making change within ourselves, such as overcoming or counteracting the angers, and seeing that, clearly recognizing that as the cause of sufferings, as a cause of bringing the troubles in our life. So of course we have to recognize, we have to be very clear that how have to recognize that how there's the benefit of overcoming such such as like the troubling state of mind, such as like the anger within ourselves. What this has a benefit. So if we see the benefit is such that how, if we are able to overcome the anger, even towards through the application of, like, through applying the practice such as the patience, or to cultivating loving kindness, and when we see that benefit in terms of doing this to a single person's, single being, how this has, even that adds more happiness, and so on the other hand, if we are going to recognize that if that the more we such let such the like afflictive emotion to arise, such as and we don't do anything about that, such as anger, and then there will be more sufferings in our life, and also we cause the suffering to others, and so in this way, we're trying to understand that just as the question of how much one, like such for example the afflictive emotions one have within us, how strong that is, such as anger. So that is as it depends upon the how long you have been familiar, sort of habituated to that the angry state of mind, and not taking any kind of counter actions to overcoming that anger. So because of that, so it has become very strong. The force of the anger is again very strong in ones. So, and however, if we as a way in order to overcome the anger, if we work on engage in meditation practice, such as developing loving kindness and developing patience, and so in this way, if we are able to, we can find that as we gain more strength in the loving kindness and so forth, and then we will notice that our mind will become more habituated with this patience, with it loving kindness. So what does that mean is then it takes the kind of less cause to cause one to lose one's temper and so forth.
Shamba Tiga ba Nebino by staying. So Nebino by the level, Medebino by Shino, something to know. I happen to I tell each other some chicken in the toe. You know the album mass or nothing, something. Shamba Tiga, Shamba Yana, only Shamba, I'm tell trousers have no. Chado said, Lebashin, Mazebaji, Mazebaji, Samba Mishibashi, the Chado. That comes. So Shamba said, Koyabush and other Galu. And many reasons I said that. Kaji, you say it, you see it. Yeah, so some Yeshu, then Yabush and other Galu. The father so the Yeshu, Shamba died. 다 서서 뭐가 돼 아버지 맞아 나도 맞아 큰일 나 타도 내는다 무슨 말이야 로 드린 간다 손톤에 손톤 첨번 누가 로 유다 셰세 야 예를 내고 셔바 보세 저 쉬거지 이런 거도 만도도 셔바야 돼 예를 셔바 이제 서서 예사들 야부시는 가 되게 다 만들어 there's a shamba the tea, there's Bata, Yeri Shamba. I read so Magasa Yabush, mother tell Maga, the Trado Yunga. I looked in Chesater. So Gasa the Yabush said, Gan, so Magasa is for I have also send that in the that's the thing, never Chambong in the woman. Say, Tashu Chase. 但是一件，但是这个件没得，但这件才了俺有两有那个是吧？啊，这老是他们那个样的，从听到的也是这上班了天天，他天那搞天他个，他看着那来真的上班过，下班过的，说说去那些啦，没注意的。 这那把是高三门这个，俺就这个是吧？原来每个咱看到老话是说三门这个 Nepati Gugua. So Sam Montreal, so the Sheded man, Yom, Sam True, on Sheded man, no Dogua. Then Kuno Sheded Teddy. Kuno Dagama, Sam Montreal, then Kuno, Garden Sell Medea. Sell Medea, take with him, Kuno name. The negation to the Yabu Garden, Nola Jena, then Nola Yabu in way. However, is a man made Punzi Jalashi. You know, then Nola had to send you. Your mother Pembo, Chamashira. Then the tongue is that sell Judah, and sell somebody Judah again, how tell you Judah she get to Mushara, Munzel, get to Mushara. Kuno ten never, Kuno Chinchu, I had a Kuno Masaka, mother, yes, Manda for you. From the Shamba and get the Adam Mul Shamba, then Majella Shamba, India, my saying a mother very up, you are. Mokavan run out for the mother, Yaki, and Tango, you are. You know, court in Madati, Tango, like that, telling on them. Ah, Mitai, you're not telling any question.
So really when we engage in meditation practice, so our focus is on our mind, and then trying to understand. We're trying to understand the effect of our mind on ourselves. And like in terms of how the sudden state of mind then have the unhappy effect, where others have a happy or very positive effect, and so therefore the meditation practice is really is about knowing our mind. Various states of mind, such as we've been talking about this, the negative state of mind, such as like anger we consider as a negative state of mind, and so therefore in meditation practice, so we knowing how the anger arises, and what sort of mental outlook that anger give to us, or with regard to the objects. So of course it will paint, the anger will paint that object as being very undesirable, unpleasant, and then whereas on the contrary, if we when we think of this loving, for example, the loving kindness as a state of mind, as an emotion, then it gives the very positive and the desirable the aspect of the objects. So therefore on one hand, so therefore the meditation practice, when we engage in meditation practice, so we are in order to overcome the certain like a negative state of mind. So we have to cultivate the positive state of mind, which directly opposite that negative state of mind. Like to counteract the anger, we cultivate loving kindness, because these two, as we find here, they all got completely different mental outlooks of the objects. So one gives a very perception of a very desirable perception of object. Other one is very undesirable perception of objects. So therefore this is how we have to training our mind in order to overcome the anger. So, for example, we have to understand in order to be, of course, to be motivated to counteract the anger. So we have to see the benefit of the anger, of overcoming the angers. So that is how we have to see the anger, with the anger. So there is it is way for us to then find happiness, find a calm state of mind. So so it's something which, as we were saying before, it's generally considered, recognized as something very destructive force, as anger, and so whereas on the other hand, when somebody who cultivate, if we look at the other people and then see, we normally do not we admire those people who who show a great deal of care and love towards others, but we don't regard those who we don't see them as a very positive people who have that very short temper nature, and so like it's not only that, then there's also different in terms of the what the person go through, how the person who have who have the anger, then it's always been very troubled and they lack the happiness, and lack the calmness. So in this way, we how on the other hand, if we have cultivate the loving kindness, then how this can serve as a source of a joy for oneself, and somehow even to the different, we can also observe that how when we share a love with someone, and then if that person accomplish some things, or possess something desirables, we feel even more joy. We feel joy to see that. Whereas if we see the person, other person of who we we feel anger, we feel we hate, and then for that person, then we will feel we will rather feel jealous for that person to possess anything desirables. So and then so we can see how it is the effect that of the jealousy again is simply because there's someone else who finds something happiness, that it's simply because of that, and we will feel jealous, and with the jealous in our mind, then we find ourselves very mentally disturbed, and something that which we do not want it. So in this way, we as we were saying, that when we look into our mind, then there's a lot of we can see that there's a lot of benefit and the reason why we need to train our mind, and so we can train the as we just saying here, in order to train our mind, so we need to understand how our mind works, and like as we talk about the practice of patience again, how when we have to see we're going to recognize the benefit of cultivating patience, because with the lack of the patience, then whenever we face certain unfavorable or certain adverse situations, then we lose the peace in our mind, because our mind get very agitated, mind get very disturbed, and so therefore we will react to that the situation, and as a result, this will then cause the anger to arise, and then the outcome of the anger, the anger arising within ourselves is then simply losing our own peace and happiness. So therefore, it is when we pay attention to the effect of our own this state of mind, like a negative state of mind, then we can see that harm that this can bring to our mind, bring to our life, to ourselves and to others. So it is something very very obvious, become very apparent, that it can be, as we're saying, is not when we talk about harm to our life, damage to our life. So it's not only something external conditions, but in fact we can see how our internal lack of internally by the afflicted state of mind that we cultivate within ourselves can be also a very obvious or direct cause for bringing unhappiness in one's life.
local Zaman, Rotan. Somebody yet, Rota so you can tone down, one, which is member. The matter of the negation, Tanya says, some Tanya or another telling any case with some Pentona.
So it is. So what is the most important is to utilize, utilizing our own, discriminating wisdom or the intelligence, and as we are here talking about how the anger, and then again to try to understand the anger, or the destructiveness or the shortcomings of the anger, through our own intelligence, power, and so likewise to trying to knowing through our own intelligent powers, knowing what is the positive or negative or something beneficial, harmful, or what brings happiness, what brings sufferings. So so we will find that at the end, whatever something we understand, fully understand through gain the understanding through our own intelligent power, our own wisdom, and then it is said that such understanding can be very, very reliable and very stable, and then we get a very clear, understanding can be also very certain to us. So as if we talk further about this anger, how we, as we were saying, that anger, not only in terms of its very destructive or influence or effects on our own experience, but in fact, even if we look at the how that anger also has the effect on our own perceptions of the things, of the objects, then again because of the anger, then we would if we go to examine, then under the influence of the anger, then what sort of perceptions that we would have about that objects. So usually, object is very, as we say, about undesirables, unpleasant, and when we look into that, the way we perceive that object under the influence, so is that really reflect the actual the reality of that object or not? Then we can find that it is more what we see, all this unpleasant, undesirable that we see is all because of it's all because more to do with our own mental projections, and so therefore it's a very give a lot of deceptions about the fact. So this we can also notice how the moment at the time of the anger, even if the person you feel anger is someone who is close to one, but still at that particular moment, then you perceive that person as very negative, very everything that you see, everything that person does, everything it gives a very negative picture to your mind. No. 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 Ma khondol lama kala sol pas pajodi So Geshe doesn't like my words, negative. No.
I know like different negative.
So unpleasant, undesirables, it gives an undesirable, unpleasant in a picture of that person's. So which you will find how the later on, when the moment that pacified, or anger get pacified, or you clear away from your mind, then suddenly you your perceptions, you have a more desirable, more pleasant the picture of that person's. So so same can be said how we can also look into our perception of the objects when under the influence of the attachment, with a strong force of attachment to a certain objects, and then how because of that the object can appear to be very beautiful and very in every angle of the object can appear to be very beautiful, very pleasing. And then again, we can notice that this element of this the beauty and the attractiveness that we see in the objects. So it is because more to do with the mental projections, and which really then cause, which will become a very important factor for the having attachment to the objects. So again, how the moment this attachment clears away from our mind, then how then we might have a different perspective of the object. Then we begin to see the ugly sides, of unattractiveness of that objects. So in this way, what we the saying here is to the importance of gaining this understanding, through the eyes of one's own, like the discriminating wisdoms. So it's very beneficial to at least to whenever like such for example when we whenever we experience like the anger or the hatred towards certain objects. Then at the same time, then at the back of our mind, then we should also to say to ourselves that under the anger or hatred, although even though the object may appear to one's mind as being so undesirable, so unpleasant, that but however on the back of one's mind also say to ourselves that it is not completely that way, that that what you see is true. So when we say that, then somehow in a corner of our mind, then we are leaving some sort of room of the desirable aspects of that objects. We are still acknowledging that when we at least we say that it is only because of this anger or the hatred that object appears to one's mind in this such a way, unpleasant way. And similarly, how we, even though under the influence of a strong force of like a desire or the attachment, that object may appear to our mind in all aspect, all angle as something very beautiful, very attractive. But then again, you say that these are also not really the fact, and then I can say that it is it can't be like that. Even to be when you say that, then you are leaving certain the aspects of the object which are not worth of being attached to or being to desire for. So this way, I mean, even though it has some sort of the parallel with when we talk about the reflecting or meditating on the ultimate reality of like a suchness of the things, the way the thing exists. So which are that the thing, things exist in reality. Things are the we say that it is the really the designation or the exist as imputed by our mind, but they do not exist by themselves or in their own right. So so in similar way, we if we apply this knowledge of how things exist in realities, that it doesn't exist. The everything that way it appears to our mind. So rather, so in this way, if we apply that when we feel certain like the anger or the attachment. So if we say that it under that influence of that emotions, so whatever the things appear to our mind, so it doesn't really reflect the reality of that things. So we're nearly out of time, but maybe if you have anyone has a question, so we welcome. Because so if you have a question, so I'll welcome. So otherwise we will do a bit of meditations, because we can't be simply only talking about always the benefit and the benefit of the meditation, because that's not going to help unless we engage in meditation practice. So, yes, question?
I just noticed that as there's more and more talk about global warming and environmental degradation, and seeing more trees being cut down and so on like that, that that's quite disturbing, I find. And well, I'm just wondering whether, well, I suppose by worrying about it, it's not going to help the situation. So the best thing, I suppose, is just to meditate, watch your mind, just try and calm the mind, and that's all we can do, really.
Okay. Yeah. So your question is there anything we can do to environment? Protect. Yeah. Okay. We namju morang is same days sort of samlona lots of chesho da di khoyu jo la ge khoyu sungjob se sto ta do ji the shingna zo me so ya da the daily small same day yes that these same days che cho yo ma gomchi bu jan de go yo this same days no
khoyu wal son kon khoyu zomo yi teje jo
no
khoyu zomo yi teje jo yi te de pa mu 거의 특제되다 년무송 야부서 들려. 소소 대사대 주사대 봐. 거의 지성 돈 좀만 되게 배우는. 세대자는 대들 집행. 거의 돼. 뭐 좀만 소소인데 봐. 좀만 야부서 거의 대웅은 너 대화 있는 소 대체. 소대 세대자들 아는 거의 봐. 소소 년호. So normal thing called the episode mother send them
so as you said, of course, there is no.
They're not just deal with that life. That's something.
Whatsoever there's no use of of the mentally worrying about the whatever that whether the issue is whether it's global warming or the environment distractions and all that. There's absolutely no worry. So but as we early on in this talk, so we if there's certain issue there, then we need to also need to focus on the cause of that and what you can do to. For example, to minimize the destruction of the environment or to make the environment better. So I would even say that for environment, even to every individual, even just to focus on your own environment, to be safe. It's to be like, for example, if you are talking of your own house and in your neighbors, or little towns. So whatever you can to keep that clean. No.
That thing, quite that run, other people clean. You all clean around all rubbish. Your rubbish go and not same, some rubbish go.
Yes.
Then you're dealing with can you come on your deal? That they cars on the common check. Didn't check on the song on poison, some terrible. So in a bed and rubbish bin, tap out something like that. So there, you go there. It's very easy technique. All together, now lots of them, Victoria, anything, lots of them.
Recycle problem there.
Very, very bad there. Everybody thinking there, quite think that.
So each individual should take the really responsibility and do whatever they can, even for the to reduce the problem of the recycle. So you put it the rubbish in the right the bin, and just generally keeping your own your house, your area and town and your family. So wherever something that you can do, reach, like practically something you can do to make a difference to the to make the environment, clean and safe, whatever you can. I think that's that is something that we can, as an individual, you can contribute to the to the whole environment as a whole.
Yeah. 저런 샌드다 되는 내가 저런 거의 더 샌드지 뭐냐 버려 섞고 생각. 저런 때 좀 와서 거의 아버리다 그는 내 제일이지. 저런 옆에 밑에 되네. kindness 요도 걸리는데 장을 걸리 everybody she's very kind. And good person, good kindness. 요 자서 와리 돼서 family 마다 very 와리. 마다 와리 very 와리. very sick. Your worry, husband sick, children sick, mother very worried, no happy. You draw clean and have your own never sad. She's nice, she's very good, very kind, all clean and everyone. When I'm in another people. That's
So people will really, appreciate if you're really, active in what you do for the environment, and then they would acknowledge and admire what you do. But otherwise, they're not going to appreciate or even won't like if you simply, very worrying about and getting too, stressed about the environment. People are not going to appreciate, or even that may cause them, feel stress. So therefore, it's the individual, as an individual, so you do whatever you can, so will be the best. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the issue is, but we, there's no benefit, absolutely no benefit of having any worries in our mind. We got to overcome that worry, always trying to more focus on, if we are worrying about something, then we look to the, the cause, what we can do to overcome that, and then the which we have to do, no matter what the issue is. But mental worry is something that we nobody wants it, or we need it.
Senta ena, senta chase, sending Gumari. Senta mena, then what is in catches? Not tell us sending catches. And not do us. Till lawyer the 10 more. That's all 100 more.
So you might have, you might have already heard this famous the passage by Shantidevas, which is always good to apply it in our everyday life, or we have to remind to ourselves. The passage says that you should check whether there is any remedy to our problem or not. So if there is a remedy, then we should not worry about the problem, but why not just apply that? But if there is no remedy, because there is no remedy, why should you worry about that? So in that way, trying to overcome all the worries in our mind. This is what just towards the end of this talk. So we're talking about the discriminating, wisdoms, so which we need to continuously develop, and that can be very good tools to minimize, what is in our mind. So we'll do just a short breathing meditation. So should always begin the meditation practice with just relaxing our body, and then letting go all the distracting thoughts. And so as we do this, and then we let we will be letting the mind just calming or resting within ourselves, and then it's good to once you've done that, once you remove all the thoughts, and when the mind just your mind settle in within yourself. So it's good to let it settle, stay in that calm state for a little while, and then you begin. After that, then you begin with directing the focus on the incoming and outgoing breath, and then trying to keep the focus there, and without letting the mind fall under the influence of any external distractions.